came on the air on Monday and talked about how unhealthy it is, how much I get into the NCAA tournament. When anybody's school wins an NCAA tournament game, it just seems to be out of balance compared to what should delight you and what should not, and how your emotions get tied into stuff. And so, I'm very fortunate what I get to do for a living. The no cheering in the press box thing kind of did knock out a lot of ancillary fan rooting interest for me. Mm-hmm. You could see, I think you could, anybody who's a consumer of this program in any way, shape, or form, or has followed my career, thank you for that. Since I appeared on SportsCenter in 1996 all the way to the present day. 25 years, by the way, that's coming up.
Congrats.
Thank you, sir. Actually, the anniversary passed, but we didn't even mention it because it was March Madness. It happened earlier this month. Right. 25 years ago was my first SportsCenter.
You should celebrate this.
You should retell the story of your audition for ESPN.
I've got a lot of stories about that. But it was 25 years ago this past month, this very month here.
Well, happy anniversary.
Because it was the Sweet 16 of the 1996 tournament, in which I debuted on SportsCenter. And so, it gets me. The Jets get me. The Yankees get me. And James Dolan just can get me because I've given up my Knicks fandom because of that man. And then it's all Michigan sports. So last night, settle into my chair, and I've got it all set up. The it being Michigan's the 1 seed, taking on an 11th seed team that was starting in the first four, and I was absolutely believing all the hype. I've watched their games. I watched the UCLA Bruins games, and I appreciated their moxie, but that's all they were supposed to have was just moxie, and it was supposed to run out of gas in the regional final against a 1-seeded Michigan team that was without their best players and Isaiah Livers and all that good stuff. But it's supposed to be Juwan Howard's time. At least that's the way I was viewing it. It's Juwan Howard's time to get back to the Final Four. How many coaches have ever played in a Final Four and then coached in a Final Four? That's got to be a very small subset of individuals who have ever walked planet Earth. And not only was I prepared for it, I'll be very honest with you. Our first guest on this program was supposed to celebrate this thing. Chris Webber, his Fab Five teammate. Instead of us celebrating that together, we will be hugging each other out and crying in our respective figurative beers. Thanks to the new curse word in the state of Michigan, it's Juzang. Seen enough of that kid.
That dude can play.
That kid, Johnny Juzang, showed up. And I will tell you what, in order to win an NCAA tournament game when you are not expected to win, you need a lot of things to go in your favor. And you need bring a lot of things to the table. You need to bring a great coach who knows what he is doing, or she is doing, and you need to bring a great game plan to the table. You need to bring a great defense to the table. You need to bring a great amount of concentration and execution to the table, and you need to have somebody who shows up and says, this is my day, this is my time, this is my shot. That rim is as wide as the ocean, and I am going to I'm just going to spin it right in there. I'm going to release, rotation, splash, to use the Kilborn phrase that I learned prior to my first SportsCenter 25 years ago this month. And Johnny Juzang was just that, because UCLA was playing great defense in the first half of that game, the first half of that game. No one else was scoring, but Johnny Juzang was. And just when the Wolverines took a 7-point lead in the first half of that game because UCLA couldn't shoot straight, Michigan wasn't scoring at will either. And that was a time where Michigan had a chance to just douse the flame. And Juzang was the one who said that's not going to happen. Scored 14 of the first 16 of UCLA's points, 28 overall, came back after turning his ankle, left the game in the second half when Michigan went on a 9-0 run to catch back up. But just when Michigan would peek its head above water and get a little bit of a lead, slight bit of a lead, 1-possession lead, 1-point lead, it was UCLA doing it. And I tip my cap to the Bruins. They were the better team in the regional final last night, and they are going from the first four to the final four. You cannot win a basketball game when you miss, I think, what was it, the last 10 shots, 11 shots? Michigan had so many shots.
8 to 10, yeah.
And
5 minutes straight to end the game.
And it's just one of those things you're just so frustrated because the looks are open and, the layups are there. And it looks like they're going to go in because they've gone in all year. And instead they just rebound off the top of the glass, the top of the square, and just rebounds off at a weird angle. And it's just like, my God, what is happening? It's a slow motion car wreck. And I, once again, got from my awesome, lovely wife, Susie Schuster, in the room where I watch all the games in my house that I bought from a Michigan State graduate a few years ago. I get my wife.
My wife.
Oh, honey. Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you think she meant it?
She does. She means it. She knows how much. Don Bowie, who's USC Trojans, got boat raced by Gonzaga beforehand. And, showing, Franz Wagner with an open look, 3.2 seconds left on the shot clock. I mean, ball's about to be released from his hand, so it would have been good if it counted. I mean, he had an air ball with 11 seconds left. I'm not one of those guys that comes on here and, criticizes somebody who's 18 to 21, and I know that they're college basketball players at a high level, and, what we do here is to have a critical eye. It just wasn't their night. Wasn't their night, and you tip your cap to UCLA, and I will sit here and say this. Everybody thinks it's Gonzaga's tournament to win. It is. Everybody thinks it's going to be Gonzaga's tournament that they're going to win. I just saw my team, the 1 seed, and you could sit here and say Michigan would have gotten boat raced by Gonzaga too. I wouldn't put anything past UCLA here.
No, me neither.
Not at this point.
At all. They got the size. They got the strength. They've got the defensive prowess. They held Michigan to 49 points. Michigan wasn't in its game all night long last night. They've got the feeling.
Yep.
You got to play a playing game to win the tournament, to get in the tournament. Because Oregon State just won your conference tournament.
Right.
Right? I would think UCLA would have gotten the spot wouldn't have had to play in if Oregon State didn't win, right? I mean, obviously there's a lot of chess pieces that you can move around. There could have been another team from another conference that would have gotten, like Oregon State winning the Pac-12 burst someone else's bubble. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Bottom line is UCLA had to play in to get in. They were down by double digits to Michigan State. And, I tip my cap to them. And I can't sit here and say UCLA has no shot against Gonzaga. Anybody who says that is out of their freaking minds.
Gonzaga looks really good, though, man.
Right. So, as you know, we had a show called The Eisen Hour on here on Epix. I do I do The Grind, the NFL The Grind on Epix. The president of Epix, his name is Michael Wright. He's a UCLA grad. We had a bottle of wine on it last night.
Ooh.
So, Michael, enjoy your Bartles and James. It'll be great. We didn't say that isn't Bartles and James, it's wine, right?
It's
wine. You cool it, right?
Yes, wine.
Does it come in a box or?
I don't care.
Yeah, it's six-pack.
I believe.
Give him some boons for it.
He'll let me know when it arrives at his house.
What flavor?
No, I'll pay it off.
Oh.
Bruin flavor. I don't know, man, but all UCLA fans should be so fired up because this is it. Man. This is the Cinderella story, an 11 seed. Yeah. I believe, if I heard correct last night, was it Shaquille O'Neal's LSU team? Was it the Dale Brown coached LSU team of the 80s was the last 11 seed? I don't know if Shaq was the 11 seed team, but was the last 11 seed to beat a 1 and a 2 in a
last
tournament?
double-digit seed to beat a 1 and a 2.
Which they just did. They just knocked off Alabama and Michigan in back-to-back games.
Like, no big deal.
Those kids from UCLA have to be, like, they're using that, like, nobody wanted us. They didn't think we should be here. We shouldn't be here.
Exactly.
And now they've got to feel like no one can touch us right now.
What a feeling that must be.
Man.
I mean, that's how we feel coming to work every day.
Pretty much.
Facts.
And good for you, Mick Cronin. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.